not going to. And so I just went on, and I went from room to room doing what I was doing, praying with people, helping people. And I came back the next week, and she was like, hey, you're not going to go in. We know now what this is. You're not going. We have these new rules. And I was like, okay, all right, I guess I'm not going in. I kind of just left, and I realized that the reason why I kind of got a little defensive, I got a little bit upset when she was like, hey, be careful, is because I was doing something noble. I was praying with people. I'm the man of God. I got very self-righteous. Rather than maybe putting my hands on everyone in every room wasn't the smartest thing during a pandemic. And that's what self-righteous does. Self-righteousness gets us focused on us, on the good that we're doing, to the point that we miss the needs around us. By the way, the Pharisees, they were doing good things. They were studying the Bible. They were teaching the Bible, but they got so filled with pride that they couldn't see the needs of people around them. God, deliver us from people who are so filled with comparison and so filled with themselves that they can't focus on the needs of others. I've never met a Christian who was focused on souls and focused on serving and focused on Jesus who was a critic. I've never met someone who was so brokenhearted about their own sin and was so humbled by the grace of God and so looking to help the needs of others who was focused on complaining and gossiping and criticizing. I want to tell you right now, God deliver us. God deliver me from self-righteousness. May we humble ourselves. And by the way, we are living in a self-righteous and entitled generation. And I want to say that we can combat entitlement through consistent gratitude. That we can daily remind ourselves of God's grace. You know why Spurgeon said that there's no greater sin than the sin of self-righteousness? And A.W. Tozer said that self-righteousness is the enemy of true worship and the true worship of God, is because when we get self-righteous, we do not focus on God, we do not focus on others, we focus on ourselves. And so let's not do that. Because at Jesus' table, miracles are possible. Everyone's welcome. Sinners are saved. And the self-righteous are set free from their self-righteousness. And finally, and we're finished, at Jesus' table, worship is expressed. Worship is expressed. Now, we're going to see two different tables. One is a table where a Pharisee invited Jesus to eat with him. Now, I want to tell you, if I was Jesus, and I had these people always criticizing me, wanting me dead, by the way, I would have said, eat with yourself. Go eat with the other Pharisees. I'm not coming to your house. You know, I'm like testing the food, making sure they didn't poison me. I mean, Jesus was invited by a Pharisee to eat with him, and guess what? He goes and he eats with a Pharisee, but the Pharisee wasn't prepared for what was going to happen because there was an uninvited guest. Look at what it says in Luke chapter 7 and verse 36. And he's there in the Pharisee's house. He sat down to meat. So here he is, seated at a table. And a woman in the city, which was a sinner, she knew that Jesus was sat at meat at the Pharisee's house. She brought an alabaster box of ointment, and she stood at his feet behind him, weeping. And she washed his feet with her tears, and she wiped them with the hairs of her head and kissed his feet and anointed them with ointment. And the Pharisee, when he had seen this, look at what it says in verse 39. He said within himself, so he's not saying this to anyone. He said within himself, this man, if he were a prophet, he would know who and what manner of woman touches him. Now, the reason why we know this is an appropriate act of worship is the word touch here is not an inappropriate touch. She was grabbing onto him. The word touch is from the word hapto, and it means to latch on, to fasten, like a death grip. She was holding on like her life depended on it. Have you ever been up really, really high and your knees started to kind of go back and forth and you were like grabbing the railing? Did you know, I thought this was AI at first when someone said it's real. Did you know in China, they have zip lines, but they have something worse than zip lines. Do you know what it is? They have lines that you ride and walk on. You don't zip on them, you ride on them, you walk on them. It's called ride lining. What in the world? This is what it is. You literally go in these little wheels and on these bikes, and you ride on the lines. Now, this is a hard pass for me. I don't know about you, but for sure no, okay? Like, I'm not doing that. But look at this girl. I mean, she's like holding on for dear life. That's what hapto is. It's grabbing on and not letting go. I just want to ask you something. What has loosened your grip on Jesus? What has caused you to not want to get closer to Jesus? Remember when you were first a Christian and you just couldn't get enough of Him? That everything you wanted to do was just tell people and get close to Him and worship Him and talk to Him and pray about things. And now you live a distracted, not a devoted life. What has caused your grip on Jesus to slip? And so worship is saying, God, there's nothing between me and you. I want to ascribe my worth. I want to encourage you with something while you're in prayer and fasting, that you will never have more time than you do right now. And if you're under 30, like many of you are in this room, this is so true, and the older you get, you'll know it's true. That you have more time right now than you ever will, and the older you get, the faster it goes. And so you need to invest the time. God is giving you an invitation to spend time with Him, to read His Word, which is a love letter, to spend time praying with Him, to spend time learning from Him, connecting with Him. And so we need to set aside time that is distraction-free, to focus on Him and not ourselves. We don't come to Jesus to feel better about ourselves. We come to Jesus to meet Him, to love Him, to worship Him.